Hello, welcome to the SIGGRAPH 2022 media briefing. I'm Michelle Hellrung, the Event Marketing Director for SIGGRAPH, and we're really excited to have you here today. We have our conference chair and many of our program chairs here present, and they're going to be able to give you some helpful information and some highlights about all of the programs at SIGGRAPH to help you with your time. A little bit more about SIGGRAPH. So today is our first day of the conference. It's very exciting. The virtual conference opened just a couple hours ago, and it will be open all the way through the end of October. So there's plenty of time to get in there and dig into the on-demand content. If you're planning to be in person in Vancouver, we would recommend spending some time with that content in advance. It will really help with your experience on site and make it that much more rich. Our in-person conference runs from the 8th to the 11th of August in Vancouver. We're excited to be back in person for that. To help along with that experience, we'll be sending to your inbox each morning a media highlights email. And really in there, we're trying to keep it very easy for you. You'll have helpful links to resources and some recommendations for sessions to check out while you're on site. We're really looking forward to having you cover SIGGRAPH 2022. And just to let you know a little bit about how this presentation will flow today, after all of the chairs go through their recommendations, at the end of the presentation, we'll be taking your questions. So as you hear something interesting that sparks a question, please jot it down. And at the end of the presentations, we'll have you share that via the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and our chairs will help answer those for you. Now I'm going to pass it along to Joey Lee to share some more helpful tips on covering SIGGRAPH.
Thanks, Michelle. Hi, everyone. I'm Joey Lee. Welcome to today's briefing for SIGGRAPH 2022. My contact information is below, both cell and email, should you need to reach me prior to the start of the show. And of course, if you're attending in person, I'll be in the media center on site to assist when and where I can during the conference. So we provided you with the various reference links about the show and the press information if you need it. And you can find the press kit there where you can access images and photos that have already been pre-approved for use. The press kit will also be updated with the official conference photos. So please check in every once in a while to grab those if you need it. Also, please note the photo and video policy of the conference, as not all the sessions and activities can be recorded due to copyrights and patents and studio and project rights. But just let me know, contact me if you have any questions or you need clarification on those kind of permissions. And with that, I'm going to pass this along to the 2022 SIGGRAPH Conference Chair, Munu. Munu?
Thanks, Joey. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Before I go over a few highlights of SIGGRAPH 2022 along with my peers, I would like to start by acknowledging my team's hard work as we navigated through many uncertainties and challenges throughout this planning process. And so today you'll hear from a number of conference committee members on the exciting content we have this year and some of the key highlights. And I highly encourage checking all of the conference schedule and exciting opportunities that we have prepared for you and for our participants. So SIGGRAPH 2022 conference theme really just goes back to bringing focus on the people who make up our community. And given the times that we have been going through, this is a time to celebrate every member who makes up our community. And so we're excited for this celebration in terms of our participants, our community members, their passion and their unique voices and stories. And of course, all the advancements in computer graphics and interactive techniques. And so from the early process, my team and I, we've spent a significant amount of time really looking into reimagining what the SIGGRAPH 2022 conference experience, as well as onwards, would go following to incredibly successful virtual conferences. And there were many insights and opportunities that we've learned and have seen. And so to really building on those successes, in addition to the previous in-person conferences, we had this very unique opportunity and challenge to start reimagining and defining SIGGRAPH conference experiences. And so really, we looked into our community members, participants, when designing this experience. And so throughout the SIGGRAPH 2022 conference experience, you will see two opportunities. There will be virtual experience, which will provide on-demand presentations. We have just launched our virtual experience today, and you will also see that birds of feather sessions are being presented live through our virtual experiences. Now, once we get to the in-person conference experience, there will be select number of content and sessions that will be streamed live from the conference, allowing our participants, virtual participants, to experience the exciting energy and some of our key highlights from the conference, in-person conference experience. At the in-person conference, we focused on providing more hands-on, engaging, and interactive experiences to our participants, from attendees to our contributors and authors. And so you will see there will be roundtable discussions, more hands-on opportunities, and ways to connect with peers and colleagues at the conference this year. And so just to highlight few of the exciting new additions to the SIGGRAPH 2022 conference, or SIGGRAPH conference in general. One of the first ones is our technical papers program, which you'll hear from our technical papers chair that we have an addition, which is a conference track, which has been really going incredibly successful. And we also have our Computer Animation Festival Electronic Theater, which you'll hear from our electronic theater director in terms of being presented both in person and virtually, providing more inclusive opportunities. And we also have hands-on learning of advanced techniques in the new labs program being presented in person for the first time. And of course, we also have inaugural year for our Educators Day, which is really exciting. Number of organizations are presenting content and training specifically for our educators. And so these are just a few highlights. Since the last year, we're also continuing our featured speaker sessions, which we're really excited to present these featured speaker sessions for the first time at the in-person conference. And so we have, as we previously announced, we have Sagwen Chang, who is an artisan researcher. Sagwen's work explores collaboration between human and machines, and she brings interdisciplinary insights and envisions alternative futures, especially the relationship between human and machine. And also on Monday, we have the Turing Award lecture, which you'll hear from one of our program chairs on the retrospective here today. Turing Award lecture will be presented by Ed Catmull and Hanrahan. On Tuesday, we also have, we're really excited to be announcing this featured speaker very soon. It's currently not announced yet. And so on Tuesday, we will have another featured speaker. Very excited about it. And on Thursday, as part of our closing, the bigger closing session, we have Ime Arkebong, the head of new product and experimentation at Meta. Ime's session will focus on how we all can and should design the future, and so it will focus on design and innovation. And I'm really incredibly proud to be presenting such a diverse group of featured speakers this year at SIGGRAPH 2022. In addition to these speakers, we also have four companies presenting these really wonderful features speaker sessions. We will start with NVIDIA. NVIDIA will be delivering the session virtually, and on Wednesday we have two more featured speakers, Hexagon and Unity, and on Wednesday we have AMD also delivering a featured speaker session as well. So with that, I would love to hand it over to Daria Tsupikova, our art gallery chair.
Thank you so much, Munu. Welcome, everybody. The art gallery is very excited to be back in person. And our theme this year is Arts and Health, the Convergence, which will present compelling digital and technologically mediated artworks created over the last 2 years during the global pandemic. You can explore a variety of art installations and results of artistic and healthcare collaborations, virtual augmented realities, simulations, data visualizations, designs, wearable computing, games, dance, imaging, scan, and fabrications and robotics. Project Ray by Wendy Zhang, which received the jury-selected Best in the Art Gallery Award this year, offers an impressive use of machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies to create responsive installation based on body scans, X-rays, and fMRI data. 2 projects were accepted to both Art Gallery and Art Paper programs to be featured in the joint Art Gallery and Art Paper session. The above-mentioned Ray and Project My Data Body by Marlene Oliver, Scott Smallwood, Stephen Moore, and J.R. Carpenter, which presents a multi-layered installation, including virtual reality, lithography, and sculpture that allows dissecting of data corpses surveilled under the skin. The image featured on this slide shows Project SIGGRAPH by Goki Muramoto, where one can lay down to examine the vision and perception through the use of computer graphics and imagination. In addition to the art gallery installations, we invite you to attend artist talks describing artists' creative processes and live sessions with the artist. Join us to touch, feel, wear responsive designs, draw with robots, lay down and immerse, interact with your internal and external bodies, and get inspired. And next is Darren.
Hi, everyone. My name is Darren Grant. Next slide. Okay. This year's electronic theater shows us the best of the best. 24 juried and 2 curated pieces that were culled from more than 340 submissions from 25 countries. Our first 2 award winners, Best in Show, The Saints Tears, and Best Student Project, Yala, were created by students in France, and the jury's choice, The End of War, was actually the passion project of a Chinese professor. Each of these pieces includes the theme of conflict, whether a recreation of the Paris Massacre in 1961, the passed down story of an author's father in war-torn Beirut, or a unique sculptural anti-war message. I want to highlight 2 world premieres, Samurai Frog Golf from Mars Animation Planet in Japan, and The Bad Guys Show and Tell from DreamWorks Animation, as well as 5 feature film breakdowns highlighting the best of animation and visual effects in the industry today. Also, as a reminder, the electronic theater covers all of computer graphics, just like SIGGRAPH. So beyond great computer animated films, commercials, gaming, and feature film work, we also incorporate scientific and data visualization. This year, we had 3 data visualizations juried in. I think that might be a record, highlighting the continued growth of exceptional visuals and storytelling in that medium. Finally, as Muna mentioned before, a big theme of this year's SIGGRAPH is inclusion, not just for remote participants as a hybrid conference, but in its content as well. That's why this year, we have commissioned a team of highly functioning autistic digital artists to create the titles and interstitials for the electronic theater. Animation is a way to allow storytellers of every background, every ability, and every preference to share their stories. I hope you get to enjoy this year's electronic theater. Thank you. Up next, I'm passing it back to Munu.
Thank you, Darren. So in behalf of our production sessions chair, Stephanie Eisenberg, I would like to just go over a few highlights from the production sessions where anything from creative to technical processes on number of different productions will be presented. We're really excited to be presenting our sessions both virtually and also at the in-person conferences. Something to look forward to is following each production session, there will be meet and greet. So for example, at following the virtual production session, there will be meet and greet taking place through Birds of a Feather session. And then at the in-person conference, immediately following the in-person session, there will be meet and greet at immediately following the session at the in-person conference as well. And so these meet and greets really allow our participants and attendees to connect with the presenters and ask questions and interact and engage. And so an exciting opportunity to look forward to. Also, in behalf of our real-time live chair, Yibing Jiang, some of the highlights from our real-time live this year is that we have an Oscar-winning animation director, Patrick Osborne, will collaborate with Evil Eye Pictures and showcase the feature stage of real-time mocap. And also some of the few highlights is the real-time live show will highlight new innovation in interactive projects such as instant neural radiance fields and audio and visual manipulation of sound waves. The show will also demonstrate how real-time technologies help artists, as well as the latest real-time development in different industries, such as AAA games, Horizon Forbidden West, also a new forum, an opera show, Eurydice. With that, I would like to hand it over to MK Hilly, our Emerging Technologies Chair.
Yeah, thanks everyone for taking the time to join us for this rapid tour through the best of SIGGRAPH 2022. The Emerging Technologies venue has always been one of the venues on site that really lean into the hands-on interactive techniques portion of our mission statement. So being back in person is going to be great because we'll have our attendees actually be able to touch and feel and experiment with our submissions. We have 12 demonstrations which will be on site, 10 that were juried and 2 that were invited as a result of partnerships we have with DCAJ and Laval Virtual. DCAJ is the Digital Content Association of Japan. And like other folks have mentioned, accessibility and inclusion was a really lovely theme that sort of bubbled up this year. All 12 of our submissions are completely different, and yet they each showcase this in some way. The 2 examples I have here, the rapid design of articulated objects, is a showcase of a tool that allows extremely quick manipulation of sketch-like objects to be articulated dimensional models. And that allows folks who may have more or less experience in some of these more complicated tools to participate in the creative process. So we'll have a hands-on demonstration of that on site at the conference. And then an example that we have from our partnership with DCAJ is a company that's developed inclusive mobility devices, inflatable and inclusive mobility devices. So using rapid prototyping, some simple control issues, both a wheelchair type device and a scooter type device, which you can see here, have been developed using a lot of the technologies we've seen showcased at SIGGRAPH over the years into this physical manifestation of mobility devices. So when I talk about access and mobility, I mean across the board, geographic, economic, physical, access to complicated and expensive tools. So this is just one of the venues that's doing a good job of showcasing that across the board. So next up we have for you, representing the Frontiers program, Vatsul.
Thanks, MK. Hi, everyone. I'm Vatsil, and I'm the Frontiers Chair for 2022. The Frontiers program was created in 2018 to explore the emerging topics and complex new programs that are adjacent to the graphics community. Since its inception, the program has grown significantly in size and interest. The goal of the program is to encourage intersectionality among areas that previously have not been highlighted at SIGGRAPH. This year, we have some exciting sessions spanning avatars, haptics, and the metaverse. In 2019, Yasser Sheikh from Meta Reality Labs Pittsburgh gave a Frontiers talk introducing metric telepresence to the audience. This year, Yasser's team will discuss their progress towards achieving their grand vision. With the expansion of the metaverse, haptics has the potential to help make experiences in the metaverse more immersive. This year, Pedro Lopez and team will present a talk and workshop on this topic. In 2021, the global esports industry was estimated to be valued at about $1 billion US. That's nearly a 50% increase from the year before, and this is forecasted to increase to about $1.6 billion in 2024. Benjamin, Yosef, Byung-Ju, and Greg will conduct a workshop on this topic of rendering interaction and training for esports. Recently, you might have heard a lot of news around AI-generated art using diffusion models such as DALL-E and Imagen. Aaron Hertzman and team will give a talk and workshop on art of AI, art in the age of AI. That's mostly all the content that we planned for Frontiers. Hope you'll join us and enjoy the content. Next up is Derek.
This year, we're very excited to showcase a wide range of projects that explore the landscape of VR, AR, XR. These projects in the pavilion are a bit more unconventional than the range of projects currently being marketed broadly by this term metaverse. We look at the contributors this year, the things that they've brought to the conference have unique takes and approaches on subjects like the future of work and collaboration, immersive gameplay, data visualization, and even live artistic performances. You know, the live performances will be a special interest for this year's Immersive Pavilion because they capture this in-person aspect of gathering together as our participants will get to enter into VR with an in-person on-site actor providing unique live performances to the attendees. Projects like Delirious Departures, Hummingbird, a collaborative live theater and virtual reality adventure. You know, these are projects that are truly blending worlds for us between the physical and the digital. And another example of that can be found in this year's Best of Show for the Immersive Pavilion, Journal of My Journey, a seamless interaction in virtual and reality with digital fabrication and sensory feedback. Here we have a project that explores this blended use of rapid prototyping tools, VR headsets, digital screen interfaces for a unique in-person experience. So while the Immersive Pavilion is one of the few programs this year that is exclusively on-site and doesn't have a hybrid model, it's done so for a good reason, because these are pieces you're going to want to jump in touch with your hands. Without further ado, I would like to pass this on now to Labs with Christy.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Christy Pran. I'm the Labs chair, and I'll move to the next slide. So the Labs program is a relatively new program. It's actually an enhancement of the former Studio program, and we've actually broken it out into three main areas. There's the hands-on classes, the installations, and the demos, which are completely new. The hands-on classes are basically instructor-led classes with equipment. So the classes this year include a deep dive into NVIDIA's Omniverse. So we have 5 classes in that. We also have classes with procedural modeling inside Blender, which I think is new. We don't normally focus on Blender, so it's very exciting to have a Blender class this year. We have real-time shader creation in Unity, which will also feature real-time shader creation in Unreal. We have Python scripting in Maya, as well as learning the look dev process from the point of view of a small studio in SideFX Houdini. We also have the installations, and those are there all week long. These are hands-on projects that will allow attendees to learn things like 4D printing, create embroidery using Houdini, and also build their own AR cardboard robot. And this year, one of the new things that we're doing are called the demos. And these are a collection of demos from content across the conference. So this could be technical papers, talks, courses in art gallery, and we're giving people a chance to get an in-depth look at the content. So it could be anything from a code walkthrough to a deep dive more into that content. So we're really excited about this. And again, this is actually also exclusive to on-site because it really focuses on this hands-on portion for the attendees to really get there and kind of learn more. So I'd like to also hand this off to Ben.
All right, thank you, Christy. Hi, everyone. My name is Benjamin Locke, and I'm the chair of the retrospectives panel. Have you ever looked at computer graphics and SIGGRAPH and wondered, hey, how did the computer graphics and art get integrated? Or I see all these cool t-shirts around and people collecting them. I wonder who's behind that. So check out the retrospective panels to hear the behind the scenes stories behind many of the important events and voices behind the history of computer graphics. The retrospective program returns for SIGGRAPH 2022, bring together many voices that have focused their careers on enabling computer graphics to improve our lives and the world around us. This year, we focus on reflecting on the past to inform the present. Across 5 previously recorded panels, you'll hear from pioneers and early SIGGRAPH chairs who have impacted much of what you'll see at the conference. So tune into the panels if you had wondered what hidden challenges did the pioneers in computer graphics face. What do they think of where the field is today? Or if you wondered how computer graphics broke into the fields such as aviation, entertainment, education, and art. And how's my life better because of advances in computer graphics? Computer graphics also expanding to places around the world, such as Europe and Latin America. Hear those people's stories too. The panels gathered a diverse group of voices, with women leading more than half the roster of panelists and moderators, and voices from around the world, including the US, Canada, Brazil, Portugal, Japan, and Germany. Thanks also to Miho Aoki, who provided real-time language translation support to enable you, the SIGGRAPH audience, to learn from a wider set of panelists. Tune in to hear from a wide range of people and an equally wide range of journeys to hear insightful stories. It's like sitting around a campfire, hearing all the interesting stories with an eye of, hey, what can we all take away? So our goal is for everyone, especially those newer to SIGGRAPH, to be inspired by our panelists' many different career journeys, leading you to say, yay, yes, I too have a role in advancing computer graphics to improve our world. We promise lots of stories, lots of perspectives to interesting questions, and best of all, no long monologues. Eloy, you're up.
Thanks, Ben. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, based on where you are. A very warm welcome from my side. I'm Niloy Mitra from University College London and Adobe Research, and I'm the Technical Papers Chair for SIGGRAPH 2022. This year at SIGGRAPH, you're going to witness several first time for technical papers at SIGGRAPH. It is a hybrid event, as you have heard from others. We're introducing the conference track in addition to the regular journal track to show the very best of research and a glimpse into the future of computer graphics. The new dual track received a record number of submissions. We had 40% more submissions than last year. And after an extensive doubly anonymous review cycle and rigorous review spanning more than a month, the jury has selected an amazing set of research for you to look at. So there's 133 journal papers and 61 conference papers. And in addition, there would be papers appearing from transactional graphics. The fast forwards and the talk recordings are already online. You can view the content as of from today. Please pay special attention to the Best Paper Awards and honorable mention. This is again the first time at SIGGRAPH we're offering these awards to technical papers. Over the last year or so, we have seen an amazing set of progress in the context of content creation and computer graphics. But with it, it comes a lot of responsibility of being extra careful for evaluating the technology, being balanced, unbiased, and having tested properly and evaluated properly. We hope to have achieved a good balance and presenting a healthy mix of technologies that has been well tested. I hope to see you in SIGGRAPH in person, and together we can make the whole conference a success. As a final reminder, this time there would be an extensive discussion section at the end of each technical paper in the form of roundtables, so you would have significantly more time to engage with the authors and get into deep discussion. So looking forward to meeting you in person and welcoming you in Vancouver. With that, I pass it on to Yangus to introduce the VR Theater. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to host the VR Theater this year in 2022. My team and I want to showcase the evolution of immersive narrative by showing a glimpse into how creators are producing these new virtual realities with engaging new techniques and a demonstration of the remarkable maturity of the medium and how we tell the stories through it. We have two main movies that are shown in the main show, which is a 15-minute show. It's On the Morning You Wake, which is a virtual reality documentary on the message that was received from people in 2018 as they thought that they were going to be attacked by a nuclear attack. Then you have Paper Birds, which is a beautiful piece about a musician trying to find inspiration in a dark world. We are going to be also showcasing 10 more pieces in the VR Theater kiosks that are immersive pieces selected to showcase the best and greatest in narrative pieces. And all of that, the main show is going to be shown in a really beautiful format by having an experience of a drive-through cinema using spaceships. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. And next up is Eric.
Hi, I'm Eric Brunvand. I'm going to be the conference chair for next year, for 2023. And if you've been doing the math, you'll discover that 2023 is the 50th SIGGRAPH conference. And so we're already hard at work planning a very exciting 50th anniversary program for SIGGRAPH 2023, which will be in Los Angeles in August next year. But of course, the focus right now is 2022. We're all very excited to see everything that's going to be happening at 2022. But at some point, if you start thinking, I wonder what's happening next year, then I'd be happy to talk to you about that. Thanks. I'll just pass back to Michelle.
Thank you, Eric. So now that you've heard some of the great highlights from our chairs, we'd like to open up Q&A. And so I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to have all of our chairs become visible so that you can see our nice panel here. And we'll start to go through our questions. So the first question that I see is, how did you come up with the art and health theme in the art gallery for SIGGRAPH 2022?
Well, thank you for a great question. You know, since ancient times, people have always been interested in the function of our bodies and the work of our minds. Artists and scientists applied the most advanced technologies of their times to explore and understand how we act, how we live, you know, how we function. And the pandemic brought unique challenges, you know, in the last 2 years to all of us, for innovation, to create art, you know, for designers, to art studios, you know, to create research. And, you know, this theme is a highlight of what was going on with all of us with, you know, last 2 years. So artists responded in a very unique way, creating experiences, creating, you know, using cutting edge technologies to, you know, really break through the, you know, innovation and create the works that promote mental health, you know, respond to social and cultural isolation, and augment our well-being, right? And improve communication over distances with family and friends. So this is all very welcome to SIGGRAPH. You can see and experience all these works in the art gallery. We're really excited to be back in person. So please welcome, come, you know, touch, feel, you know, get inspired, you know, lay down and try and, you know, awake your imagination.
Thank you, Daria. The next question I see is, what was the most exciting part of picking this year's content for the VR Theater?
The most exciting part was how much pieces have come that are very, very mature at this level. We've seen the steady evolution of pieces throughout the years, and this year is no exception, with much longer pieces, actually. So the level of techniques, the level of the different subjects, and the way that everything is presented is you can really see how the medium has evolved. It was a really tough choice. So we had a panel of jurors spent a couple of days looking at all the pieces and carefully selecting them. And we're very excited to showcase them all this year.
Thank you, Yangos. The next question is, how is Labs different from the other workshops at SIGGRAPH?
So one of the things that makes Labs unique is the hands-on capability. So we're actually providing the computers for folks to actually be able to sit there and do it in person. That's one of the unique features about the Labs. And we'll have the instructors there to answer questions. And it's an experience from both beginner through advanced.
Thank you, Christy. We'll pause for just for another minute if there's any other questions. Okay. Overall, how would you describe the footprint of gaming centered and related content this year at SIGGRAPH? Oh, and what might be planned for 2023 in that category?
I'm happy to talk about 2023, but somebody should address the first part, the 2022 part first.
I'm happy to talk about the first part from the technical papers point of view. So what we witnessed is a blend coming from both the gaming side and also the AR, VR side, with a lot of motion planning being delegated to reinforcement learning for path planning and character animators and getting their expressibility. We already will witness a few of these amazing technologies coming up. And I think moving forward with the speed that we have and the hardware we have, we'd expect the separation between gaming, rendering, and production quality video getting closer and closer. So this would, you would witness it when you see the technical papers, the program.
I'd love to talk in detail about what we're planning for 2023, but I want to hold a few things in, for surprise later on. I'll just give you a teaser and say that my Games Focus Chair for 2023 is a huge fan of and huge advocate for esports. And so I won't say too much more than that, but there may be some additional esports content going on in 2023, which would be very exciting.
And something we also want to be sure and mention is that while we have venues with very specific names, art gallery, electronic theater, we also have areas of interest or tracks. If you go to the SIGGRAPH 2022 website, there is a track in gaming and interactivity. So if you click on that, you can see where gaming is represented across multiple venues. So birds of a feather, technical papers, and the like. So our attendees have the option to slice their content per venue or per area of interest.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, MK, for adding that. And thank you, Niloy, for pitching in. We also have the advances in real-time render courses that are taking place this year, both virtually and in person. And so we're really excited about that. Those courses are also one of the biggest highlight sessions that we have at SIGGRAPH, and hopefully the upcoming announcement will also help to, I won't be able to say much, but hopefully upcoming announcement on one of our featured speakers will also help to answer this question, but I'll just leave it, here for you to find out in just about a couple days or so. Yeah.
Great, thank you all. So there's one more question. What tech would you consider wow this year?
Again, I will start from the technical papers. So historically, technical papers at SIGGRAPH, every paper is considered extremely special and prestigious. This year, for the first time, to make the process a tiny bit easier to get started, we have announced the best papers and the honorable mentions. So these are the ones we definitely, we as in the committee thought were wow consistently. So that would be a great place to start looking for the wow papers among the technical papers.
Anyone else want to add to that?
Well, it's a tricky question because we all feel like the entire conference is just the whole thing is wow. I mean, you know, I don't know about you all, but when I walk around any of the SIGGRAPH conferences, I mean, I'm constantly saying that as I turn the corner to the next part of the conference. So it's hard to zero in on one thing when everything's so neat.
I think that's fair. We have another question. This is for electronic theater. Have you seen more students participating, and how do you encourage their participation?
I guess I'd say over the years, I find it hard to have more students participate because there are so many students that participate in the electronic theater year to year. Again, 2 of the 3 award winners, admittedly, 1 is for a student award, but 2 of the 3 are actually students. There's amazing content that comes out of animation schools nowadays. And so, I guess in terms of encouraging more students to participate, I think it's just through the inspirational work that they see from other students. You know, yeah, I mean, it's full of amazing student work. I guess the only other thing I'd say is if you look at the level of student work, I did the same role in 2003. So almost 20 years ago, and the level of work coming from students then to the level of work that's coming from students now, it's shocking, inspiring, and it leads to significantly richer stories that are being told by these students, things that I don't think they felt were possible 20 years ago. They can actually tell these stories now because of the availability of hardware and software and access to great talent.
Great, thank you. I think that is the end of our questions. I'm going to hand it off to Joey to close, unless Munu, did you have anything else you wanted to share?
No, just thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to having you in person as well as virtually connect with everyone virtually throughout the next several weeks.
Okay, thank you all for coming today. This year's SIGGRAPH looks to be exciting, both with the in-person and virtual components. As mentioned, the online content is available now and will go through the 31st of October. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and thanks again, everyone, and have a great day.